There exists a certain type of creature in this world that has been discovered by a few individuals, yet its existence remains unconfirmed. We collectively refer to such beings as unidentified mysterious animals, or UMAs for short. Greetings everyone, and welcome to our UMA video series. The state of Illinois, situated in the Midwestern United States, with its vast Shawnee National Forest spanning the southern region, open fields and sparsely populated areas, seems to provide fertile grounds for the occurrence of bizarre phenomena. For many years, in addition to the various mysterious legends embedded within the culture of the local Native American tribes, there have been peculiar urban legends and alleged sightings of unknown creatures. Tales like the giant Sasquatch of Moffat's Monster, the Hellhound Bridge of Kleinsville, and the Demon's Child of Hayworth have shrouded the entire area in an enigmatic veil. Today, I will share with you one of the most bizarrely described unidentified creatures that I mentioned in my previous episode, the Enfield Monster. Also known as the Enfield Horror, the Enfield Monster earned its name from the town of Enfield in White County, Illinois, where it was reportedly sighted. The term horror stems from the media's depiction of the panic caused by this alleged monster. Generally, eyewitness accounts describe the Enfield Monster as a short, primate-like being standing around 4 to 5 feet tall, covered in grayish skin with stubby front limbs. Most bizarrely, witnesses claim this creature possessed 3 equally long hind legs and emitted an unsettling screech. The sightings of the Enfield Monster, or the Enfield Horror incident, were primarily concentrated in the 1970s. However, due to some unclear sources and slight discrepancies in media reports, I will attempt to integrate the relevant information and share it in chronological order of the events. Around 9:30 p.m. on April 25, 1973, 50-year-old military veteran Henry McDaniel returned home to find the lights still on. His 2 children, Henry and Earl, looked terrified upon seeing him. They claimed that something had tried to climb up the air conditioner and attempted to enter the house by pulling on the screen door. Initially dismissing the incident as likely caused by a stray cat, old Henry urged his children to go to bed. However, the scratching on the screen door resumed, and against his children's protests, Henry opened the door. It was then that he laid eyes upon that bone-chilling creature. According to the report, Henry's original words were, "It had 3 legs. It was small, with 2 short arms and 2 pinkish eyes about as big as flashlights, gray in color. When it stood up, it was about 4.5 to 5 feet tall." Henry stated that the creature attempted to enter his house. Realizing this, he quickly shut the door, went to the bedroom, grabbed a .22 caliber handgun and a flashlight, and returned to the front door. By then, the creature was standing between 2 rose bushes, merely 12 feet from his house. Without further observation, Henry immediately opened fire, discharging 4 rounds. In the report, Henry claimed he was certain he struck the creature with the first shot, causing it to emit a strange hissing sound reminiscent of a wildcat. However, the gunshots did not appear to seriously injure the being. After letting out an angry screech, the creature leaped away, disappearing into the bushes by the nearby railroad tracks. Henry described the creature leaping 3 times, covering a distance of approximately 50 feet, a jumping ability beyond his comprehension. Shaken by the events, Henry immediately contacted the local police. When they arrived, they did not find the creature, but they did discover many strange footprints around Henry's house. These prints resembled those of a dog, but with 6 toe pads, baffling those present as to what species could have left them. One of the officers, James Massell, stated that Henry McDaniel was very sober and rational at the time, dismissing any notion of inebriation. Of course, the creature's leaping ability raised suspicions that what Henry saw was a kangaroo. However, Henry adamantly insisted that what he witnessed was neither a dog nor a kangaroo, revealing that he had kept a pet kangaroo while serving in Australia, so he would absolutely not mistake that species. Henry proclaimed that if people did indeed find that creature, they would discover there was more than one, and they were definitely not of this planet. This early report first appeared in the Carmi Times of Illinois on April 26, 1973, the day after the incident occurred. Unfortunately, I could not find an online archive of that original report. The earliest version I could locate was from the following day, April 27th, in the Owensboro News and the Carmi Times. The reports ran in various news outlets from April 27th to 30th for a week. Many media outlets dispatched investigators to Enfield to systematically interview locals, hoping to gather first-hand information. Among them was Rick Rayburn, the news director of the local radio station KZM-FM 100.5. Rayburn revealed in his interviews that at least 3 local residents claimed to have witnessed strange occurrences, including a 10-year-old boy named Greg Garrett, who lived near Henry's house. Greg stated that on the night of April 27th, around 9 p.m., approximately half an hour before Henry's encounter, he was playing in his backyard attempting to catch a firefly. Suddenly, a creature leaped out of the bushes, one of its feet landing on Greg's shoe and ripping open his tennis shoe. Terrified, Greg immediately ran home to inform his parents. However, when they went outside to investigate, they found nothing. According to Greg's recollection, the creature was about 4 to 5 feet tall, with grayish skin covering its entire body, and some gooey liquid dripping from it. It had 3 legs, short arms, and claws at the ends of its limbs. The situation gradually became more confusing. On May 7th and 8th, 1973, various newspapers again reported new sightings of the monster in Enfield. I'll broadly divide the contents into 2 parts. One part records the radio interview with Greg, while the other involves the first eyewitness, Henry McDaniel, reporting another sighting. Around 3 a.m. on May 6, 1973, Henry was awakened by the barking of dogs. Turning on his flashlight and looking out the window, he was shocked to see the strange creature about 50 feet from his house on the railroad tracks. Henry's original words were, "I saw something moving on the tracks. It was just standing there. I didn't shoot at it or take any other action. I saw the thing move north along the tracks, but it wasn't moving very fast, and nothing else unusual happened." On that same night, radio news reporter Rick Rayburn, accompanied by 3 other investigators, visited Enfield as well, and they were fortunate enough to spot the monster in an abandoned house near Henry's residence. Rick described the creature as being around 5 to 5.5 feet tall, with an overall dark grayish color, and hunched over at the waist. When it noticed their approach, it fled quickly. Since the creature had its back turned to the witnesses, they could not clearly observe its features. However, they were fortunate enough to record the creature's screeching sound as it fled using audio equipment. Puzzlingly, according to my research, this audio recording was never broadcast publicly, including on their own radio station. The news of the monster's reappearance caused quite a stir. An increasing number of people with unknown intentions began entering the woods around Enfield. The local police had to issue a warning prohibiting the possession of firearms. On Tuesday, May 8th of that year, 5 young men were arrested in Enfield for illegally possessing guns and lacking hunting permits. Police Chief Roy Pollard pointed out that since the creature's appearance, many people had entered the woods, shooting at anything that moved. Local residents avoided going out during that period, not out of fear of the monster itself, but rather due to the potential danger posed by those gun barrels. However, 3 of those 5 men claimed to have seen and shot at what was being called the Enfield Monster. According to a May 9th interview, 19-year-old Roger Tappy was the first to spot it, sometime before noon on May 8th. They were a couple of miles from Henry's house, searching for footprints along the railroad tracks, when Roger noticed some noise. He alerted his companions, expressing his desire to photograph the monster. But when he turned and caught sight of that flat face, all thoughts fled his mind, leaving only fear behind. He described being about 50 yards from the creature, with part of its body obscured by bushes. Roger fired an experimental shot towards its feet, but likely missed, as the creature fled at an extreme speed. Roger believed nothing could run that fast after being shot. Another witness, 20-year-old Mike Mogul, described the creature as about 5 feet tall, covered in deep grayish fur, with a flat, extremely ugly face, but moving at an incredible pace. After being educated and paying sufficient fines, the men were released. Precise sightings ceased after that incident. Locals said the monster may have been killed by the gunshots, but no one was willing to search for its body. Cryptozoologist Dr. Lauren Coleman also traveled to Enfield in early May 1973 to systematically interview the eyewitnesses and inspect the house that was allegedly attacked by the monster. He even heard the banshee-like scream in the forest, but made no new discoveries beyond that. Around May 15, 1973, approximately 3 weeks after the initial incident, 10-year-old eyewitness Greg Garrett suddenly contacted researchers at Western Illinois University, admitting his story was a hoax intended to prank Henry and out-of-town reporters. Rumors circulated that Greg's parents forced him to retract his statement due to the annoyance caused by the influx of outside callers and visitors stemming from the incident. According to Dr. Coleman's article on his cryptozoology website, Greg passed away due to family disputes in the 1980s, but never came forward to explain the incident during those intervening years. Henry McDaniel himself stated in the reports that within a week, he received over 200 out-of-town phone calls, giving a sense of the public pressure that ultimately led him to sell that house. The entire Enfield horror incident, from the initial sightings to the influx of outsiders and the gradual fading of media attention, lasted approximately 5 to 6 months. Public interest eventually dissipated after the prolonged, fruitless search, but speculation about the true nature of the Enfield monster remained a popular topic online. The kangaroo theory was initially popular, with the short arms, powerful leaping ability, and what could be mistaken for a tail lending credence to the idea. A key factor fueling this theory was that on May 15, 1973, Enfield's finance officer, Milty Fields, received a letter from a man in Ohio named Alan Yorkshire, claiming the monster's description matched that of a pet kangaroo that had escaped from his possession the previous year. Yorkshire offered a $500 reward for its safe return and planned to come to Enfield that Wednesday. However, the kangaroo theory had its issues. Henry had vehemently stated the creature was not a kangaroo, and the considerable 400-mile distance between Illini, Ohio, and Enfield made it hard to imagine the kangaroo traversing half of Ohio and the entire state of Indiana undetected within a year. There were also no follow-up reports on whether Yorkshire found his missing kangaroo. Cryptozoologist Dr. Lauren Coleman's opinion, as mentioned in my previous episode, was that the Enfield monster was likely some sort of demonic monkey-like creature, such as the one he proposed, a combination of the Chupacabra, Myraku, and Pongo breeds. He included his 1973 Enfield investigation in his examples of demonic monkey cases in his book, Mysterious America. However, the three-legged aspect remained unexplained by this hypothesis. For more on Coleman's demonic monkey theory, you can refer to my previous episode. In 2012, anthropologist and cryptozoologist Dr. Dale Drinan stated in his Cryptozoology Primer blog that many speculated the Enfield monster was an alien life form or some kind of demon, but he felt most alleged alien and monster encounters could be explained by natural or man-made phenomena. He believed the Enfield monster was likely some kind of bizarre, unknown but entirely corporeal creature, possibly even the result of a mutant species. The final and currently popular theory leans towards the entire Enfield horror being a case of mass hysteria, a collective psychological phenomenon resulting from anxiety and self-suggestion spreading through a group due to certain stress-inducing elements. In late 1978, a team led by Western Illinois University sociology professor Dr. David Miller conducted a systematic study and theoretical analysis of the Enfield horror case, publishing a critical re-examination of the contagion of collective behavior, the Enfield Bigfoot case, in a sociology journal. Overall, they viewed it as a typical outbreak of mass hysteria, catalyzed by factors like natural disasters, politics, and economic decline that year, amplified by media coverage and group gatherings. Self-suggestions like warning children to avoid Henry's house at night acted as primers for the phenomenon. Though some residents remained skeptical, and others admitted to seeing normal wildlife like cows or deer, suggesting Henry's imagination played a role, this was still just speculation about the monster's true nature. From a cryptozoological perspective, the Enfield monster case does have trails to follow. Personally, I believe Henry McDaniel did indeed witness something beyond his comprehension. Despite enduring ridicule, accusations, and the threat of arrest, with no apparent motive for personal gain, even having to eventually sell his home due to immense public pressure, he steadfastly stuck to his account. Disregarding the three-legged aspect as a possible misidentification, there were other similar sightings reported around the same time period elsewhere in Illinois. A month after the Enfield incident, police in Edwardsville received 3 reports of a 5.5-foot-tall creature with red eyes and a fungus-like odor lurking in shaking trees, even attacking someone. Similar reports abounded in that era, so personally, I lean more towards Dr. Coleman's opinion that the Enfield monster was likely an unknown primate species. What puzzles me is why evidence such as footprint photographs and audio recordings were never publicly released, including on their own radio station. The video concludes by leaving it up to the viewers to speculate whether some bizarre beast truly exists deep within those dense woods, an enduring mystery without a conclusive answer. As always, the unknown vastly outweighs the known, the allure of UMAs. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.